This is NAB Show Live.
I'm here with Dan May, the president of Blackmagic Design. Dan, how are you today?
I'm doing really well. It's day one of NAB and excited to be here.
It's great. So, Blackmagic, a huge company, and before we got into this, we wanted to cover just a couple of things because there's obviously so many interesting features and products that we can talk about. So, what are we going to do today? What do you have for us?
So one of the big things that people are excited about at every NAB we come to is what we've done with DaVinci Resolve, and this year is no exception to that. We've added a ton of new features into our various pages we have, obviously our Fairlight page, our visual effects page, adding new AI, but one of the things I really wanted to touch on is we've added actually an entire new page within DaVinci Resolve, and this is our new cut page. And one of the things that we wanted to do, whenever we talk to editors, we always talk about how do I become faster? I want to be faster. I want to get faster at editing. Whether I'm someone that's just starting out that just wants to throw a bunch of stuff on the timeline and get done, or whether I'm just starting a big project and I need to get going faster. What we didn't want to do is we didn't want to change the edit page because these pages are really cultures. And someone that lives in the edit page doesn't want to be told, hey, we're throwing it all out and starting over again. But we did want to start something from the ground up, and that's why we have this cut page, which is a really great way for people to get going, get their media organized, get it onto the timeline, and really quickly be able to get going and create a whole project if they wanted to, that they could just suddenly be done and upload to YouTube, or maybe that's just something as an assistant I've gotten done that now loads immediately up into the edit page to done. So it's a complete new way of thinking. People that have been looking at it have been terribly excited about it to get using it, and then that's complemented with this new DaVinci Resolve editor's keyboard. Another way for us to be able to speed up the editing process rather than mousing and keyboard, trying to hunt for menu systems. I've got two hands on the wheel, much like we had with our color grading platforms. We have an actual hardware surface here to be able to go through and do really fast edits, hopefully really accelerating the process. And we think this is something that people will be really excited to start playing with. Our public beta that went up today on the first day of NAB.
That is very, very, very exciting. So, keeping everything that they know, that they love, but speeding things up, because that's where a lot of the editing, that's why it takes so much time.
We want to make sure that people still have all the creativity they've ever had. So we wanted to do something that was additive and not destructive. So if someone says, look, I've gone ahead and I've got all my timeline assembled, hey, I just went out and did a bunch of Fortnite and I want to go ahead and cut this all up and put it on the internet. Great, no problem. I don't have to do anything else. But if I'm now going to go in and I'm going to start organizing this simply so that I can then hand it off, and now I want to add titles or color grading or graphics on top of that, I have the whole application there to back me up. So whether it's, again, someone that's just starting out or a true professional editor, we think this page is great for them.
So from the beginners to the very, very experienced users. Now, you said that there is something else that we can talk about that is very exciting. So what would that be?
I'd like to pull you down to some of our new 8K products that we've actually developed here as well. What we wanted to do is we've, as a company, have always talked about how do we create the most efficient product at the most cost effectiveness possible. We want to build a $1,000 camera. How do we build a $1,000 recorder? These are incredibly difficult things to do, but by doing it, they lift people up to being able to do things they were never able to do. This year, we actually started thinking about how do we create products, and rather than be worried about necessarily the price point, let's just keep saying yes. Let's add more inputs. Let's add scalars. Let's add all these features. Now, these products became more expensive, but suddenly we realized if I have a 40 input switcher, I can actually make that be not just a 40 input for Ultra HD, that's actually a 10 input 8K switcher. Now, I don't know how many people need to go and do the 8K switching today, but we really wanted to add a lot of value into these products. So what I've got here is actually our ATEM Constellation 8K, which is a 40 input Ultra HD switcher capable of doing 8K. I've also got my new HyperDeck Extreme 8K HDR, and these are recorders that can be used for recording and playback. And they'll do HD, they'll do Ultra HD, and they'll do actual 8K recording. But the important part here is they have all the same VTR functionality. They feel like other recorders that we've used in the past, but in a very modern standpoint. So while these are more expensive by Blackmagic standards products, we find that we've put a tremendous amount of capability in them for customers to go out and use. And if they start using them for 8K, they know they've got that forward thinking for that, even if they're HD or Ultra HD today.
Now, is this already out and available on the market, or is this just a prototype?
So what we've got is we've got our ATEM Constellation 8Ks are now shipping. They'll be shipping this week. And our new Hyperdeck units will be shipping later this summer, probably about the June time frame. So it gives people time to start planning out. A lot of these are system-based sales. People are going to be looking at, but we've already had people come and say, look, I wanted to buy your ATEMs, but I just needed more inputs. So that's great for them. Do they need the 8K? Maybe not today, but looking down the road, that's something they'll be happy to know they have in their back pocket.
Thank you so much, Dan. A pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure to be with you today.